Guys, welcome back to the Winter Season Showdowns. You saw that bumper. Dallas is approaching rather quickly, so be sure to take advantage of purchasing online right now. Of course, if you purchase online right now, instead of at the door, you get 15 bucks off. That's $35 online versus $50 at the door, so definitely take advantage of that if you plan on going to the Dallas event, because it's going to be fantastic. And you don't want to miss it, especially if you're relatively close to the area. Even a 3-hour drive, I'd say it's well worth it to attend this event because it's going to be awesome. That being said, we're trying to decide which players will be there. Currently, we're in a best of 5 between Hero and Polt, where Polt is currently up 1-0. I'm axeltoss, he's axslav. Shall we advance on into game number 2?
Let's do it. Let's do it. Polt is, you know, one thing Polt did there that I really love to see. And we actually saw Thorzan do it against Zake too. If you want to catch those games, youtube.com/official MLGSC2. So many people complain about the Oracle being such a devastating unit, and that's almost unfair. But we can see if the player is on top of their scouting and they're ready to handle whatever comes at them, it's not you can stop the Oracle harass. Polt showed it that game very convincingly. Thorzan showed it against Zake in their series as well. It is something that is definitely defendable, and if the Protoss commits to that amount of investment and they're not able to get a lot of damage done, it's going to put a Terran player ahead enough, and you give a player like Polt a lead, he's going to run with it and hit just the perfect timing there. One thing that was beautiful is that big engagement, he knew exactly when to hit where he had the upgrade advantage. Yeah,
it was great, and you know, it's interesting, like, he hit 2-2 right when the battle was happening, and then he also hit 3-3. Like, he just started up, so he's not delaying any time. Again, as you said, you know, making sure he keeps those advantages he gains in games. But here we are in game number 2. In the bottom right-hand location, we have the red Terran player who is currently teamless and currently up 1-0. He's 2 wins away from getting a spot at the Winter Championship event. He is Polt. His opponent in the top left-hand location, a member of Team Liquid. He has a championship under his belt, a very good Protoss player. He is Hero, but he's currently down 1-0, so he has some work to do. We'll have to see how he adjusts coming into game number 2.
And, I mean, I think this is anybody's series. I mean, Polt did take that first game, but Hero's control of that defense was so immaculate. The force fields were placed amazingly well. The Stalker usage, like Polt kept trying to find angles. Polt never once got a Viking volley off on the Colossi without the Stalkers being there, returning fire, taking out those Vikings, which I thought was extremely impressive, given the way, you know, Hero had to defend a small choke, and all his units were bunched up, but the Stalker positioning was always just absolutely immaculate there, and that's so key from a Protoss player. I'm really looking forward to Hero playing this game. You know, this game he's staying on 1 gas, so he's going to get that faster expansion, won't have that disadvantage coming into the game from that failed opening.
Yeah, and I know fail might sound like a harsh word, but, you know, it is what it is. He went for that very fast Stargate, went for the very fast Oracles, and they didn't pan out. Whenever you invest that much in early tech and you can't get damage done with it, then your opponent's going to have an advantage, and it's not going to work out well for you as the game goes along. Of course, unless you make some really impressive holds or your opponent, you know, makes a mistake. So,
and we've seen that happen.
Yeah.
On Sunday.
Yes.
We saw some of the most insane PvT play there. Check those out on YouTube as well. Of course, youtube.com/official MLGSC2. We're, of course, talking about the MC Live series. Man, that was just PvTs in Heart of Swarm. You know, they're not radically different than Wings of Liberty yet.
Yeah.
But all the little things being added in, it's just the medevacs make it so much more exciting. The potential for airplay from Protoss, the time warps, just the whole. It's such an awesome matchup, I feel like.
Well, Hero made a second gas there and he canceled it.
Interesting. Not quite.
Terran and Polt saw the second gas as well. So definitely some mind games going on here.
But then he just rebuilds it.
Yeah, a little bit later. But he wanted to get that faster expansion out.
Yes.
So according to Polt, it's like, oh, it's a 2-gas, it's a potentially 2-gas, 1-base type play.
Yeah, because Polt hasn't seen that expansion yet. You're right. Although I feel like a Polt was really on top of things. Because the second gas was in construction, and if he was doing a Stargate tech build like last game, it actually would have been already done at that point. I think. Well, I don't know. I mean, it's hard to tell. All the builds are new in Heart of the Swarm. And Polt, he's gonna eBay again, so maybe he'll be afraid that Stargate play. He's gonna again get those preemptive turrets, but it's not like getting eBay's gonna cripple him. right? It's like, oh no, I have to get upgrades faster because I built an eBay. Darn it, you know? He got me there.
I mean, but even if he builds like one turret in his main base,
that adds up.
That can be a little bit of an edge there for Hero, which he's definitely going to try to take advantage.
You know what? He's going a very quick robotics bay, a robotics facility just after that second gateway, which you can do now because it's a small choke. You have force field, you have the mothership core. You can defend with just a small amount of units. And one of the key things is if you know your opponent's going to get the eBay first, and they might get stim pack and +1 before they build a factory, their first Vikings will be late, and Hero might try to abuse that with Colossi time.
Yeah, I think really fast Colossus can be very strong on this map. Of course, there's not a ridiculous amount of real estate that you have to defend. That being said, adding on a Forge here, his gas count is actually quite low, even making a sentry there, making an observer. So
doesn't quite look like he's
so not going for a super fast robotics bay. Of course, you can go for Colossus, but it's going to be a little bit later than the fastest possible, which is fine. It's a little bit more safe getting out the sentry so you can get more energy from Force Field, potentially hallucinate, also getting the Forge for faster +1. So still remains to be seen what Hero's mid-game plan is really going to be.
He's sending a probe out around the left-hand side of the map. I think that's going to be there probably to construct a couple pylons. Of course, proxy pylons are great not only to warp in Zealots to harass the Terran into mid-game as they take more expansions, but also to spot for drops. I mean, sure, the medevac lands units, you lose that pylon, but you know what? It's a lot better to lose one pylon and have a drop come out of nowhere and cancel your upgrade, kill a Forge, kill a lot of probes, kill a critical tech building like a Templar Archives when it's researching Storm. There's so much potential damage there that any type of scouting you can get to give yourself a little bit of advanced warning is worth a small investment.
Polt's getting there, getting a decent amount of information. He sees both gases being mined at his opponent's natural expansion. He saw 3 sentries on the high ground, and he was able to spot the observer. So we can see that his opponent is going for that robo play, is probably going to be investing a lot into tech and upgrades. And he's going to try to push here. He's going to try to take advantage of the low unit count here from Hero, sending his Marines and Marauders across the map.
Probably going to try to force out a couple of force fields, of course, as long as Hero controls his defense right. Actually, I feel like if Polt try to goes up this ramp, it could be massacred.
It could be a disaster.
There's 4 Zealots there.
4 Zealots coming forward.
Polt backs away. There's almost this like invisible line you can see where if the Terran crosses it, then the Protoss will jump with force fields. And Polt was towing that line so finely. He knows exactly how to play that. If he took like 2 steps more forward, he would have gotten his army cut in half and taken massive losses. But of course, as long as he stays back, they can't, you know, at the bottom of the ramp, they can't be force filled. Just there's too much space there for him to run away. So great play by Polt there, trying to test the waters, but backing away without, you know, risking his whole army. Hero setting up those proxy pylons like we talked about. Probe getting ready to maybe, I don't think he'll build one behind the third. They usually be spotted if he tries that, but he does have that one at the 4th base that can quite easily warp in Zealots to harass.
Yeah, able to spot that 3rd base from his opponent, so might try to go out to his own 3rd to throw that down for himself. Adding on a robotics bay and +1, Blink is about halfway complete. Meanwhile, Polt focusing on upgrades himself. +1 is about to finish. Where does he have a 2nd engineering bay or an armory?
Not yet.
Not
He'll
yet.
probably add those as the armor starts finishing.
Yep.
Yeah, as typically he's going to do. He's really prioritizing unit production right now. A lot of barracks with reactors. You know, the 3rd base, I anticipate a couple more barracks being added right now. Trying to get some damage done with these medevacs, but there's so many units on top of that ramp, he may have to look for the drop instead.
Yep, and of course we saw Hero was able to handle that without too much trouble. Polt never able to get the drops going. That's because he had an observer over his opponent's unit composition. So we'll have to see if Polt is a little bit more wary of that. Meanwhile, so he's taking down this pylon at his 4th base.
He's so on top of that. Last game as well, he caught that one at the bottom right. And that's actually, it looks like a small thing. But not having Zealots kill all your SCVs is very important.
Oh, it looks like Hero wants an engagement here coming outside of his natural expansion ramp, throwing down some force fields, but very quick reactions there from Polt, able to ignite those afterburners and pull those units out of there before they fall. Meanwhile, the factory might end up falling here. It is in the deep red, and it will definitely fall. Meanwhile, we have that Marine and Marauder squad continuing to run around the left-hand side of the map, going to spot yet another pylon.
Some more skirmishes going on in the middle. Polt forcing out some force fields and took out a couple sentries. Only minimal losses on his own. His units on the left side have been taken out by a Zealot Warp window. Polt's on the retreat as Hero tries to push forward. Can Polt defend his 3rd base? Hero's coming into an open area. A great concave by Polt there forces him back a second. Where are, I guess he's just going to try to use Blink Stalkers and sentries, but there's no force fields left. If he keeps charging, I think he's going to be in for a lot of trouble. He doesn't even have the charge upgrade on his Zealots.
There's one force field, and now he's probably going to realize he's out.
But he can't even retreat here. If he tries to retreat, I feel like Polt can just chase him down.
Yeah.
I don't think Polt realizes how weak Hero is.
Well, there's Time Warp.
Yes. And he has recall too. So
yes,
he could definitely get out of there. Polt though on the defensive, wanting to make sure he doesn't risk losing the game. Still no armor or second E-base, so the upgrades are going to start to favor Hero as he's already working.
I'm really confused.
I don't think he's only has one. Yeah, he's got one out in front of his natural. That's the first one.
Okay, so just keeping it there for now, I guess.
Yep, range upgrade's just about to finish.
He's going to try to blink into the main here, potentially going to take down a depot that's on the edge.
Yeah, I think he's just going to try to run away there. If he went for the main, he probably could have been trapped by units on both sides. Is he going to get away?
Two Stalkers going down. There's the blink.
And he might get cut off, though. Or no, Polt's going to try to engage the army with
his Time Warp, but the Mothership Core is going to fall, and Polt is going to end up backing away. That army is still at the Watchtower, though.
Hero's not blinking an eye.
Very bold army.
His Protoss units have a lot of courage.
Yes, they do indeed.
One Marine trying to take out that pylon. There was that squad of 5 failed before. He's like, well, maybe one man can do it, 5 couldn't. I can handle this. We'll see if he'll be successful in the next coming minute. Meanwhile, Hero's trying to add in charge, and look at those upgrades from Hero. He's going to be significantly ahead as the game goes on, but he's got to survive this attack from Polt, and right now, I don't... Oh, he's got those 2 Colossi, third one almost done. No Vikings. Just now does Polt know about the Vikings adding a second starport. He's got to retreat, though, because he has no way to deal with them right now.
Polt just now spotting those Colossi. Range is done, and now Polt is on the run. Hero trying to get close enough to lay down some force fields. Knows he has a little bit of an advantage here if he can position his Colossi correctly. And Polt, again, scrambling to get those Vikings on the field. There's a Time Warp, but another stim having to be expended here. Medevac's a little bit far forward, but look at this. Polt's going to turn around and try to engage. He has a massive Marine Marauder army. Sentry's getting taken out here, so now Hero's going to be on the run. Pretty back and forth engagements here.
He is. I love how Polt's working his armies in 2 different groups, one on the left, one on the right, making sure that no matter which way Hero goes, one of those groups can get in, flank those Colossi, and take him out. Hero realizing that if his Colossi get flanked, he's going to lose, backs up. He's going to be on defense mode until the storm completes. Meanwhile, Polt is cranking out Vikings like a maniac. Normally, this is where he tried to hit a timing before storm completes, but because the Colossi were hidden for so long, I don't think all the Viking count before storm completes to really deal with those 3 Colossi.
Yeah, I mean, if we're talking about the momentum of this game or the sense of this game or the feel of this game as far as both players are concerned, I feel like Hero is going to be a little bit ahead of his opponent as far as tech is concerned. Storm is about 60% of the way done. He has plenty of Colossus on the field. 4 Colossi now in total, but looks like Polt wants to do some aggression. This would be a really good timing. Storm not yet out, with it looks like 3-2 on the way, plus 2 weapons about to finish. No, okay, Hero has the upgrade advantage. Storm is at the finish. I'm a little bit worried for Polt if those High Templar can get on the field, and they are there.
He really wants to get some damage done, but the upgrade advantage, the tech advantage, like you said, the High Templar are out already. There's Blink Stalkers around. Polt has got to be very careful. Looks like he's going to load up 5 Medevacs.
Oh my gosh.
This could be a game changer if he gets in there. Hero has that 1 observer, though. I think it's going to spot this, but even if it does, with Ignite Afterburners, they can get in there and do a lot of damage. What does Hero have to defend against this?
Hero has to react. With any High Templars in the main? No, there's only 1 cannon. 4. It looks like 3 High Templars being warped in, but Marines and Marauders being dropped down. Feedback's trying to go down onto the Medevacs, and a lot of High Templars going to die here. Hero backing up with the Zealots and Colossi. Can eventually clean this up, but Polt might take advantage of this by attacking into the natural expansion.
A little bit of hesitation there. Of course, Hero left just enough units to defend. Polt unable to take advantage, and Hero's going to knock out all these units. I'm surprised Polt left units in the main for as long as he did, perhaps trying to bait out more of Hero's army, but Hero with immaculate defense there covering both ends and coming out ahead in the trade, I feel.
Polt behind this, adding on 2 additional command centers. He's at 63 Harvesters, mixing in the ghosts at this point in time now, 4 ghosts at a time. Also, I think he was able to take down a War Prism from his opponent with those Vikings, which he left behind to search out for those. 3-3 also underway. So a pretty close game we have on our hands here. We're going to go try to secure a 4th base. A Zealot going to be escorting that probe, and that should that should go down momentarily. But is there a time with High Templars here? I'm not so sure, considering ghosts are now being added on the field.
A lot of ghosts are coming out there. What Hero's going to have to do is probably try to leverage up a timing as upgrade advantage. Right now, they're both 2-2, but if he can wait for that 3rd armor to come into play, he'll have a temporary advantage. Polt, though, adding more and more command centers, planetary being built. He wants to make sure that even if he loses the battle, he has a defense to fall back on. Hero might not let that other command center get up, though. He's looking for an angle. Vikings coming in there. Mothership Core goes down, and Time Warps can be so important in these battles. Missing out on those is going to be a blow to Polt.
That's actually really instrumental. Big battle going to happen here. Planetary Fortress going to come in the way of this army, executing all of its damage. Great storms there onto the army of Polt. Marines and Marauders trying to kite backwards, but Hero very experienced with this control, and it's showing. The Vikings getting taken out. Hero ahead, 147, but there's a great EMP from Polt as I say that. And now Hero is going to be backing away. Still has a good amount of energy on those High Templars. I think he's going to be happy with how that battle ended up going.
Oh yeah, taking out that Planetary Fortress is so important. It really gives Hero the space to control the middle of the map. The storms hurt the army so much. They're very instrumental here. Polt very wary of those storms, kiting backwards, making sure to stay away from those High Templar. Meanwhile, Polt's flanked with another force along the top. Storm's going down, but the flanking force is trying to get in there and do damage. Meanwhile, Zealots are being kited.
I don't know if Hero's going to have enough to close out his opponent. Polt is trying to come up with a heroic defense, adding in more and more Marines and Marauders in that production tab, and he's going to shove Hero away. And now Hero might be on the run, but no, he's just going to turn around and greet this force. And the Archon going to be taking a lot of damage. That command center going down too. And yes, the Medivacs doing a great job keeping most of that bio alive.
I feel the first battle Hero came out on top, but now Polt's surging forward, maintaining the medevac count, whereas Hero lost almost all of his important tech units. Only the Stalker's been able to blink out and retreat. And Polt's chasing him down. He may try to go straight for the fourth before Hero can get up any more defending units.
Such a tense battle we have here. Did Hero overextend? I'm looking for those High Templars. Yes, he still has 3 High Templars at his 4th base, mixing in more Colossi, warping in more and more Zealots and High Templar, but he's also at 3-3, so he has an upgrade advantage at least for a little bit, but the 3-3 from Polt just now finishing up. Hero blinking forward, trying to take down some Marauders, but there's a huge storm onto the Marauders and the Medivacs. Polt trying to split up those units. Another great storm there from Hero. The Marauders trying to soak up as much as they can, but here comes a Colossus, and will that be the game changer? Because there aren't many Vikings in this composition here from Polt, and the Medivacs also desperately trying to heal the Marines and Marauders. Looks like Nick's computer is exploding next to me. Hopefully, there we go. Yeah, get out of here, Nick. We don't want you here slowing down the game.
Polt still trying to put on aggression, but his Medivacs are running lower and lower on energy. Luckily, he's got 2 reactored starports, cranking Medivacs and Vikings out 2 at a time. Hero's still trying to invest in upgrades, saying we can both be a 3-3, but maybe if I get the shield upgrades, that'll give me the advantage. A small Bioforce surging in there, getting the snipe off, picking off some more units. Polt has all the map control, all the tempo behind him now. But Hero, can he stabilize, build up the High Templar count, build up the energy count, build up the scary Protoss death ball in order to deal with Polt's massive army?
Gosh, such a close game, but Polt's macro is out of control here. I mean, he has his command center at the middle right, has a command center at the middle left. So even though he's losing a lot of units, he's rebuilding so fast. He's already at 183 out of 200 supply, and his resources lost. He's well behind it. 16,000 to Hero's 14,000. Hero being very cost efficient, but again, Polt just continuing to replenish that army.
He is. It looks like Polt's going to back out for a second here, perhaps figuring he wants to wait to get some ghosts up. Going for a big drop. Does Hero know about it? The Zealots?
I think it does.
I think the Zealots saw, but what's he going to do? Hero's army is smaller. He's going to have a very hard time defending his 4th. He can't lose the 4th. He's got to defend it with his main army, but when his main army is guarding the 4th, that leaves his main wide open. Only a single High Templar there to defend, well, 1 Zealot as well standing guard. I don't think a Zealot can take on 4 Medivacs.
I don't think so either. Ignite Afterburner is going to be activated there by Polt, trying to target down the High Templar. Storm going down, but not hitting much. A Colossus going to get shot to death right when he popped out of that robo. Meanwhile, while Hero is working on how to defend this, he's also going to be attacking into his opponent's 4th base. Storm's going down once again onto the Vikings, Marines, and Marauders. Hero trying to desperately hold off this ridiculous aggression from Polt. Meanwhile, going to be shutting down his opponent's base in the middle right with the Zealot. He also did some damage to the middle left, but the Planetary able to hold that off. A drop in the main base, still doing a ridiculous amount of damage, taking down the Nexus. Hero coming in there with the High Templar and plenty of Zealots. Another Storm going down. Meanwhile, we have an attack from Polt, and Hero's 4th base attacks everywhere, and I think this might be enough to take out this 4th. Hero doesn't have an answer to hold that off. Meanwhile, going to be cleaning up the main base aggression, but again, at what cost? That 4th base.
And he needed that 4th base. Of course, this time in the game, his main has now mined out. Down to just mining from his 3rd base means Hero's on 1 base economy against Polt's 3 base economy. That's never a situation you want to be in. Polt continuing to just pound out units like a maniac. All he's going to do is retreat now because his medevacs are energy. He wants to get those energy back up. He wants to re-add to Ghost, re-add to Vikings. And his next attack is going to be so brutal as he'll be max, and Hero will be straining to even get to 140, 150 food.
Hero might have to try to pull an
More
MC,
gateways,
which we saw alive or fall to in that matchup. Hero has a lot of gas where he did. He just warped in a bunch of High Templars, making a lot of them into Archons, and now he's going to have to slowly try to set up this fourth while fending off against the multi-pronged harassment. That's so good from Polt. He's continuing to add up the upgrades. The big engagement might happen once again. High Templars here in the front. Polt has to be careful.
Is very damaging. The Medevac, 0 energy units, a lot of them in the orange. Oh, there's the fresh reinforcements. Plenty of units.
Just out of the barracks. They've been trained. They're eager to join in on the battle also.
Oh, they're waiting to flank. It's going to be a two-way trap.
Yeah.
When Polt runs up there, Hero will think he can trap the army, but it really be a sandwich. Hero doesn't fall for it, though. He says, I need to go into offense. My opponent has too much economy. I've got to knock out one of his bases. The scan, though.
Oh, Ghost laying down the EMPs and the snipes. Goodbye, High Templar, which deflates this army big time. This might be exactly what Polt needed to want to go for the aggression. And now Polt coming in from every single angle. There's a Time Warp, but look at this concave, this crescent moon from Polt. Storm's trying to go down, but Hero getting swallowed up by the Terran Bio Ball, and Hero throwing down the GG. Polt taking game number 2 very convincingly. I mean, it was back and forth, but like there came a point there where Polt was just absolutely everywhere with his units. Hero desperately tried to hold, but he just didn't have enough.
Polt's multitasking is so insane. One that really impressed me is throughout that game, his use of Ignite Afterburners was excellent. In the early game, he's using it to save a Marauder here, 2 Marines here, and all those small things add up. And in the mid-game, using it to get those drops in much faster than normal, straining Hero's multitasking to the point where it finally broke down. Hero had to give that 4th base, and then he just couldn't keep up macro-wise.
Yeah, I mean, there's only a few times you can give up a 4th base as Protoss and still stay in the game. One of the times is when MC is playing, because he can do stuff like that. But it's a very difficult situation, and like Polt is really impressing me here. Of course, I remember not too long ago we had a show match in Heart of the Storm between Polt and Tamaga. Polt had no idea Ignite Afterburners existed. He never used it in the entire series. Here we see him pretty much using it to define the game, just spreading out Hero so much, making Hero make these difficult decisions as far as, all right, how many units do I send to this base? How many units do I send to this base? And Polt just pouring on the aggression. Hero had no answer, and he takes game number 2. So we'll have to see if Hero can make a comeback, because Polt is 1 win away from getting that spot at the Winter Championship event. Guys, stay tuned. Game 3, the possible decider, coming up.